That's my entertainment too.
What's yours?
What's yours?
So this show is kind of shares a little bit of DNA with Riverdale. I was wondering if people from the Riverdale audience could come over and watch this show and get a similar feel off of it, or if fans could have something like a Riverdale-esque to enjoy of it.
You know, in weird ways, they're similar. There's a strong visual stamp to both shows. There's a strong genre element to both shows. Riverdale has crime and pulp and noir. Sabrina has horror. But in many ways, they're very, very different. In some ways, Sabrina is darker. In other ways, it's more innocent. I think the biggest, for me, common denominator is that they're both, I think, really fun. Like there's just fun inherent in the concept, and the characters are fun, and you want to spend time with both of them. So it's people who know Riverdale and have seen Sabrina say, I'm surprised how different they are. And then me working on them, I think, oh, but there's overlap and similarities, but they're pretty different.
Do you see them being in the same universe or same ballpark, or are they different universes?
The universe of my mind. No, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're in the same universe. I think they are.
Okay, so potential crossover?
Sure.
Somewhere down the line.
Sabrina is going to be a pretty powerful young woman, and this is kind of your first chance to play that real coming of age into a kind of a kick-ass type of character.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to play a character that's really coming into her own and finding her strength. As a character, as a person, I find Sabrina to be extremely brave, extremely selfless. She is so kick-ass and cool. I would want to be friends with her in real life in a heartbeat. I would want to get lunch with her, and I think she could teach me a few things. And at the same time, she's still got so much to learn, and that's why it's so fun to play her, because she's equal parts human and witch, and that's an interesting route to go down. And just playing around with that duality and making her a complex person that's just kind of figuring things out as she goes in these kind of crazy situations. It's so fun.
Just the need to find out what happens next. I mean, I'll never forget when I read that episode. I swear to God, I jumped out of my seat, and that was just crazy. And then to bring it to life, and now to see what that end product looks like, it is truly terrifying. In that last episode, again, we always manage to, because of Roberto's great gift, he's given us these phenomenal characters to fall in love with. With Harvey Kemp and Sabrina, they're the heart of the show, which gives us license to pretty much be as horrific as we possibly can be in and around them and see how they deal with that. It's all about flipping the negative to the positive and back again, and that's that's our currency. We do it by looking at lots of different things as well. But that last episode is you will jump out of your seats. Many moments in that.
I feel like there's so many scenes in that last episode too where you're just gonna want to kind of continuously have on a loop. Even the last shot comes to mind as something that it's just really sticks with you.
No spoilers. We can't talk about season 2. We can't talk about season 2. It's funny enough. Almost all my friends are Buffy fanatics, I've seen a lot of Buffy, but I wasn't like a hardcore, and I love Buffy, but I wasn't a hardcore Buffy fanatic. You know, it's funny. Truthfully, it does feel, from what I know about Buffy, it does feel different in that Buffy felt like she was there'd be a monster that would get loose, and Buffy and her friends would kind of like get together and do that. And we do have a couple of episodes that are a monster's gotten out and everyone rallies to protect the monsters. But it does feel like it's more of a serialized drama and a family drama, and you know, where a lot of it is about building the mythology of the witch world. But there are similarities for sure. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say it seems like a family drama based on the trailer.
Say again.
It's interesting that you say it's like a family show because it seems more, it's very dark, and I feel like there's a lot of adult tones to it, and it looks really good, but I wouldn't necessarily think it was something I'd watch with the family.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, guys, speak to it.
Depends on the family, I guess. Yeah.
The thing that I've really noticed that there's not a show like this out there at the moment. There's not a show that young adults can actually share with their adult parents, right? This is finally a show that does that crossover where you can enjoy this show. And now, is it a family show as in you'd stick your five-year-old in front of it? Absolutely not. But it's something that's what I think its power, and that's why it's unusual. That these kids can see the themes that they're dealing with now, navigating the lives that they live now as sophisticated audiences, and then have like their parents share that with them. Yeah, I think that qualifies as a family show.
I mean, I will say that the two most excited people for this show are my best friend's little brother and my grandma. So it's going to be for a lot of people.
You know,
It's great.
My boss always says, Greg Berlanti, he always says, you always, in every episode of Sabrina, you have to have the breakfast scene. So I'm sure Miranda and Lucy and Chance and Kiernan are tired of every
I love
episode.
The breakfast scene.
But we all that you
look
always
forward to
have
the
to dock with the family, and they it's kind of like, oh, we're going to breakfast and we're going to school or we're going to work. But that's kind of where we recenter. It's kind of like when the kids meet in Pops in Riverdale. You have to have that scene, and so that's why I kind of that Hearth is what I consider to be one of the hearts of the show.
So, young adult horror actually used to be a big thing. Like when I grew up in the 90s, there was a lot of young adult horror on various platforms, TV, and then it kind of died down, but now it seems to be coming back. Can you guys just talk about trying to address, just kind of addressing the first question, find that balance that kind of hits the note of being the horror side, but still kind of finding the young adult side?
Yeah, you know, I mean, we you know, when we're in the writers' room, we usually talk first about the emotional story, whatever the emotional story that what's it about? What's Sabrina wrestling with? What's Ambrose wrestling with? What are the aunties wrestling with? What's Madame Saint wrestling with? So we usually talk about that, and then we always have to put it through the filter and say, okay, how is this a horror story then? Like you can do a breakup on practically every TV show. How is this breakup a horror breakup? How do we put this through the horror filter? So it's we talk about it all the time in the writers' room, striking that right balance for if it was just straight up horror, that's okay for a movie, but for a TV show or for a streaming show where you want to spend 10 hours, 20 hours with characters, you've got to invest with them emotionally. So it can't just be, oh, this guy's killing people so we talk about both elements all the time. It's a push and pull. Some are a little more horror, some are a little more emotional.
Were there any horror scenes you guys had to cut just didn't quite make it?
That's a really good question. Were there any horror? Yes, there have been some horror scenes we've had to cut. No.
But that we're gonna like.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to ask about the aunties and their relationship with each other. which is kind of tense, seems a little tense in the series, as well as how they are with Sabrina. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I wouldn't really say it was tense. I don't know. They're very different. They come at things from different angles, but there's actually a lot of love between them in some strange way. But it's one of those, really kind of I don't know. That sibling relationship where when one person goes one way, one has to go the other way, and that's the way they balance each other out, and they kind of work off each other in that way. Like, I don't know, it's not derived from like a place of tension. I don't feel. I think with Zelda, she's so forthright and domineering in some ways that I think we think probably Hilda just obeys, but actually if I've looked over all the episodes we've done so far, I'm like, actually Hilda gets her own way. It's just that she just goes underneath, and it's only after the fact that you go, oh, it went Hilda's way, or Hilda saved the day here, and you don't expect that from her. But we love our relationship. It's
we
a lot of
love
fun,
it.
and there's a lot of humor in the differences.
When we
between
get on
them.
set to do the scenes, we're always looking for something where we are either opposing or together in something, one or the other, really.
And they're both fun. Like, the together moments are really fun as well.
And how are they with Sabrina?
Well, I think Zelda's more, you could say that she's a matriarch, but she has a lot of more male characteristics, I would say, as a character. She's more like you would figure the father in the family to be, more strict, more keeping everything in line, organizing, concerned with status, and trying to help Sabrina not make any mistakes. She's a bit of a perfectionist, I think, Zelda. Whereas Hilda's more nurturing, more...
Hilda nurtures Sabrina, and we have quite a few lovely scenes like that. But I like her because she is more okay with Sabrina's rebelliousness, because I think Hilda has one foot in the mortal world sometimes anyway. I think she loves it and is fascinated by it, and is quite okay with things that Sabrina is doing in that respect. So I think she encourages it probably behind Zelda's back, and it adds to the opposition between us. It's fun.
Thank you.
Pleasure. The exorcism was really fun for us guys, because it's amazing how much we do on the day in the scene that isn't added in post. So for the exorcism, the guy, Uncle Jesse, he was rigged and he was being pulled up, and then he at one point would shoot forwards towards us, and we had air machines blowing on us, and the windows were going up and down, and we were throwing salt and it was coming back in our faces. That hurt. And so I love doing things like that. It's amazing what we do on the day and not in post. I'm in awe of it. Yeah, that episode in particular, there is another scene where a chair comes flying at me, and the chair really did come flying at me on a rig, and I had to jump out of the way. and to have those kind of practical effects really makes a big difference. To just really feel like you're just so much more in that world.
Theories just keep changing all the time about what the backstory is with the parents. Like, I think Roberto's still deciding which way he wants to go with it. So we almost have a book running on which way it should go. Take bets.
We'll
take your
all
bet.
start a book. I'll take the money.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.